last year for us was a real leap in the dark. For me, it was an objective to try and to learn what it was we needed to do to grow oats and to process it into porridge, and also what it was like to store food. Now, I can remember when I was growing up, at my parents' house there was always 6 months' supply of food in it. You know, between what was stacked up in the cupboards and in jars every place around it. And our ancestors used to live in a house, might have been 1,000 square feet, but outside that house there was maybe 2,000 square feet of food storage, whether it was the chickens running around live in the yard or whether it was a reek of spuds or whatever. There was always food around the place. Slowly, over the last 30 years, things have changed. We're now living in houses which are 3,000 square feet, and our food storage has gone down to one small larder and an oil tank outside. So for me, I feel that a more sustainable future is a little bit of a switch back to the other way. Now, a lot of people were put off with the idea of, oh my God, what am I going to do with 140 kilos, that's 720 kilo bags of spuds? How am I going to store them? So that actually put off a lot of people. But more people came on board and realised, okay, well, I'm going to have to take control of this food storage issue, because if I'm going to be in charge of my own food supply or directly linked with a producer for my own supply, I'm going to have to learn to store it. So what some of us did, we got like old dead chest freezers, which make perfect potato stores. You can leave them outside, they're rat-proof, rain-proof or whatever. On the grain side, we were, as Madeleine McKeever is the lady who said it there, which she mentioned the lines, porridge for the parish. Madeleine is the owner of Brown Envelope Seeds down in Skibbereen. And between ourselves and West Cork Leader, we have managed to acquire a dehulling machine. Now, a dehulling machine is absolutely necessary to turn the oats that a farmer would grow, or the sacks of oats that you get back. It's essential equipment to take the outer hull off that to make it palatable for humans. So we now have a dehulling machine, and that dehulling machine can process a ton a day of oats into porridge. And the idea behind it is there are a number of other community supported agriculture schemes that started up this year. There was a few last year. All of us needed this machine. So this machine is now available to other community supported groups to hire, to convert your oats into groats, which you can then process for porridge. Now, another thing with our headsets are most people have, and I use the semi-religious, I use that very deliberately, because a semi-religious belief is something that has no real truth basis behind it. It's something that you believe in. And most people believe that because the free market has supplied us with an abundant supply of food regularly and consistency for the last 40 years, that it's going to continue to do so. And there's a lot of us who think that it may not do so without some interruptions. Now, for next year, or this year, should I say, CSAs are inherently small-scaled and local. There's no such thing as like a CSA growing to national dominance and having 10% of market share. It's nothing to do with that. It's about people connecting with a farmer in their locality and sourcing their food from him. So what has happened? Our own group has split up into a few different groups. It wasn't very localised as such last year, but it is now split into a few groups, like in Ballydehob and Kinsale or whatever, who are now starting their own CSA projects. So that is the way that CSAs are going to grow. Our own, we have a website now which helps with communications and generally spreading the word about community supported agriculture. There's a focus group of us now who organise Bantry CSA, and we have also improved our grain drying and storage facilities. We had tried various methods, and we eventually settled on buying a grain spear, which is a mechanism of drying grain in a very large bag. And so we now have got good facilities. Last year we didn't even know what we needed, so we didn't know what we were missing. In our case, the oats that we grew were extraordinarily expensive, but the fringe benefits, the learning, the techniques that were taught to us were invaluable. So we're now offering that, opening that up to anybody else that would be interested in learning how to grow grain on a small scale, as well as have a couple of days crack in an absolutely gorgeous place. We're also trialling the Alaska Giant Compost Tea Manure. I don't know if any of you have ever come across it. Basically what it is, it is a liquid manure that you apply to your land, and it provides the land with all the microbes and bacteria that it needs to release the nutrients for the plant. So I've been using it in my garden for a couple of years now, and so this year we're going to try it on a full-scale crop, on the oat crop this year. So those are the yields of the oat course, the crack of the experience of community harvesting, learning about siding and tying sheaves, lots of fun, straw, material for sugan weaving for anybody that's interested in that. Most oats which are harvested with a combine machine, you can't use those for sugan because the machine breaks them up into small pieces, so they're not really suitable. But straw which has been cut with a side is perfectly suitable. And we're offering that for €100 to anybody that's interested. And CSAs. I've come here to help spread the word over here, hopefully enthuse a few people on the idea of community supported agriculture. On our website there is a very, very good download from Hydra in England on how to start a community supported agriculture scheme. Now you'll find that on bantrycsa.org, which is our website. There's a link there to it. Or if any of you are interested, if you make sure that you put your name down outside the door there, the people here are trying to organise a group of people. It only takes a small focus group to start something like this, and once it's started, the second year is very easy. The first year is difficult, convincing farmers to do it, getting a consumer group, but to repeat it in years to come after that becomes very, very easy. Okay, that's my presentation.